Good afternoon, students. We'll continue with our chapter 2, part 3. So, we had priorly seen the topic that is defect reporting and all the stages of defect reporting. Now, we'll be going with defect report. How do we have to create a report? What are the effects of creating a report and everything? So, defect report communicates the issue to the development team. So, there is a process of issuing a defect report to the development team so that the development project manager could look after it and solve the defect. So when a defect is first reported, it is not always to be a valid defect. So it's not compulsory every time it will be a valid compulsory defect, that obviously some problem will be there. It can be a misunderstanding of the requirement. It can be a misunderstanding that yes, there is a defect, but it could not be a defect. It would be a perception of defect by the tester, or a change request which was not documented. So change is being done and still it is not documented, so that can also be a misconception of the tester. So a good defect report should have include all steps to reproduce the issue. So whatever the issue is, it should have a proper documentation of that issue, well written in detail. It should be written in detail that what issue is going on, what defect is actually causing a problem or giving a reflective output. Enable the development team. We should inform the development team to take decision on which defect and when to fix it. So the development team also should be able to check the problem and then issue a particular solution, as well as they could give a duration when and what time they will fix it. So depending on that, these are the steps which are being taken for a good defect report to be written. That is, it should be written in a well mannered problem. Where is the issue, that should also be specified. Then it should be informed to the development team to take them a proper decision on which they will be working for solving the defect, and what time and how much duration they will fix it. So these are the points. So to ensure all required information are mentioned in the defect report. So when it is said in the second point that well written in detail, they need to specify each and all the required information of the defect, and that time the following fields are included in the defect report templates. So these are the following fields which are being taken into consideration while writing a defect report template. First is the summary, one line heading or summary of defect, that concise and to the point, that summary, that yes, what problem is there in one line. Then the description explaining in brief about the defect or problem which is occurring. The product name, that is the software name. Release version, at what version level it is being executed. Then steps to replicate it, step by step description on how a defect is reproduced. Every time you solve go into the software, and every time it is giving you some replicated problem, so that you have to write step by step. Actual result, so this is the actual output what we should get, should be written in the actual result. Expected actual result is what output we are getting, and expected result is we should have got this output rather than the actual output. Then the attachment, any screenshots or network logs for understanding the defect. So any screenshots that yes, this is the problem, that is the images related or network constraints related problems of that particular defect. Then defect severity and defect priority is being given by the development level team only, and reported by, that is who is the person who is looking after this testing report or defect. So they have to write their own name in that particular reported by field. Next is software testing metrics. So when we are talking about software testing, a metric is a quantitative measure. Again, it's a quantitative measure depending on the numerical value of the degree to which a system is there, that is which a system components, the correlated components of the system, or process possesses a given attribute, the attributes of that particular process on which the system is working. If it provide quantitative approach to measure the quality and effectiveness of the software. Yes, it works on the quality and effectiveness of the software in the development and testing process. So software testing is a metric for software testing metrics is a new quantitative measure for working on the degree of systems, then system components and the process possesses the given attributes or not, but it also provides quantitative approach for quality and effectiveness of the software in the development and testing processes. Rather, a definition of software metrics given by Paul Goodman is software metrics is a measurement based technique. So, here pay attention, it's a measurement based technique. Everything is in the numerical value format which is applied to processes. It can be applied to processes, it can be applied to products and services to supply engineering and management information. That information can be engineering information or management information, and working on the information and also working on the information supplied by the testers to improve processes, products and services. So as it is applied to processes, products and services, they will provide engineering as well as management information to work on what? To make improve processes, products and services if required. So this is the basic diagram which is being followed, that is measurement based technique applied to processes, products and services to supply and improve engineering management information. So this is the basic idea of that particular thing. So this is the definition which is being converted into the diagrammatic format. That is measurement based technique. It's a measurement based technique applied to processes, products and services to supply engineering and management information for the working of on the information supplied to improve processes, products and services depending on engineering and management information. So this is the actual thing which is given by a statement given by or definition given by Paul Goodman. So next is importance of metrics. So when we talk about metrics, metrics is used to improve the quality and the productivity of the products and services, thus achieving the last deal is customer satisfaction. At the end, all this is done is for customer satisfaction. Easy for management to digest one number and drill down if required. So easy to manage, to digest that yes, we have certain number of values and we need to solve those problems as well. Different metrics trend act as monitor when the process is going out of control. So there are certain trends also which are been there which can be followed for monitoring the data if it is going out of control. So metrics provide improvement for current processes also. So improvement is the actual thing that defects can be removed. Next is types of defect metrics. So what are the types of defect metrics? First one is base metrics and second one is calculated metrics. So base metrics is basically the base metrics constitute of the raw data, the raw normal data whichever has come to the test engineers through the testing effort is called as the base metrics. It is used to provide project status and the evaluation feedback. So base metrics has nothing to do with the testing process. It's just the normal data which has come from the tester, as well as it is being used for evaluation and feedback and to check the project status, how it is working. For example, the examples of base metrics are total number of tests executed, total number of tests not executed, total number of tests passed, total number of tests failed, total number of defects identified. These are the examples of base metrics. Whereas calculated metrics convert base metrics into more useful information. So what does calculated matrix do? It takes base matrix raw data and converts it into useful information, that is valuable information. So examples of calculated metrics are percentage of text executed, then that is test coverage, percentage of test not executed, that is it will calculate the percentage level out of 100, then percentage of test passed, percentage of test failed, they will do the calculation, percentage of test blocked, defect density, defect removal efficiency, that is DRE, then defect leakage and defect rejection ratio. So these are the examples in which your defect is being calculated, that is calculation matrix is being done for useful information for your process to work further. Next is using defect for process management. For process management, if we use defect, what can be done? When testing team executes the test cases, they come across a situation where the actual result is different from the expected result. So when a testing team is working, they are not getting the expected output, they are getting the actual output as something different. This variation is termed as a defect. So this is defect. Defects must be identified as early as possible in the life cycle of a project. It should be found out as early as possible in the life cycle of the project, so that the cost fixing of the bug reduces. The cost required for solving the problem becomes less. Without a doubt, the best approach to defects is to eliminate them together. To check and eliminate them together can be one solution for this. While that would be ideal, it is virtually impossible to develop a 100% bug-free system. So it is not possible for us to prepare a 100% bug-free system. However, we can identify and implement ways to prevent defects. We can identify those and we can prevent those defects. Defect prevention should be considered as, defect prevention can be considered as a critical activity. So without any defect, if we are solving the whole software or creating the whole software is not possible, that can be termed as a critical activity also. So with this, we complete our chapter 2, that is unit 2 is completed. I will be providing you one assignment on part 2 and one on part 3 of 2 questions each, and will be providing a Google form for the same. As well, for these particular 3 lectures and yesterday's lecture, 2 lectures, I'll be providing separate attendance. You have to fill those attendance. Each attendance separately you have to submit, as well as you have to keep those records ready till today late night, that is till 9 o'clock, so that I can segregate the data. If you have any doubts, please ask on the group, and tomorrow, that is on Monday, we'll be starting with our chapter 3, that is unit 3. Thank you.